It's Nishi Patel from N Accounting. Hope you're having a great day. And I wanted to just go through a topic today, which I think is really, really important and quite often overlooked by business owners. So, a lot of people in business, in the small business world, in the big business world, they always talk about how important it is to look after your customers. And I completely agree with that. But what often gets missed out in terms of the discussion is how important it is to look after your suppliers. So ultimately, a business is several components working well together, and that means you've got to have a good team, you've got to have good suppliers, and you've got to have good customers. If you're weak on any of those areas, your business is never going to achieve its full potential, and it's probably going to be quite stressful to run. So today's video, I want to talk about supplier service, not customer service. So looking after your suppliers is incredibly important, and it's even more important probably today or this year than it's ever been before. And the reason for that is, if you were listening to one of my previous videos on the changes in the economy and the new budgets, then one of the things I essentially mentioned was that the economy is shifting. It's all about higher value and higher pricing. So what that implies, and one of the reasons for that shift is because we've essentially now got a restriction in the amount of labor in our economy. So if you think about it, every single business, for every single team member they have, has to generate more value than they've ever done, partly because their own costs have gone up, partly because the team need to be paid more because the supply of team members has reduced, which means the price of the team members, as in their salary, has to go up, and that cost then has to be passed on. So there's less people in general to do stuff in our economy, which means, from looking at your suppliers and supplier point of view, it means it's quite likely there's probably less suppliers in the economy to do stuff as well. So what I mean by suppliers are, it could be your accountants, it could be someone that supplies you materials that you need to build your product. It could be your HR consultant. It could be your web developer and your SEO company. So, businesses, they tend not to do everything in-house. They will often have suppliers assisting with multiple parts of their business. So the idea is, because there's a restriction in labor, then ultimately that'll lead to a restriction in the number of businesses out there that can actually provide a service. And so what I'm trying to get to with this video is I'm trying to help people understand that if there's less of something, they've got to work harder to acquire it and protect it. So, for example, in the past, when you could have just shopped around for ages for an accountant, or you could have shopped around for a marketing company to do your work, the good ones are probably fully booked for the next year or so. So what I'm saying is, if you've got suppliers in your business that do a really good job for you, or if you want to start working with someone who might not be working with you already, but they've got a really good reputation, your business needs them to grow to the next level and to deliver its full potential, then essentially courting your supplier is just as important as wowing your customer. We all go out to impress our customers. We have the best service, we have the best packages, we go that extra mile just to add that value, but we're going to have to start looking the other way as well, and start looking at how we can add value to the suppliers that we work with. So there's a few things you can do to add value to your suppliers, because ultimately, if you don't add the value to your suppliers as well, they're either going to go with the highest bidder, which isn't good for you, because that means your prices will then go up, or they're going to essentially just not be able to do the work for you because they'll find someone else who they prefer to work with. So, you're always competing for supplier attention. You're always competing for your team members. You're always competing for your customers. So, there's a few things you can do to make your suppliers' lives a lot easier. So firstly, just cooperate. If you're working with someone, it's because you trust them. So if they're asking for something in particular, give them, unless it's got serious alarm bells ringing, then give them what they want. Don't question it too much. Just trust they know what they're doing. They want to get things done as efficiently as possible. Make sure the effort they spend goes into adding value for your business, not in terms of just covering the basic bits of admin and information. So that's one way you can definitely help them. Another way you can help them is introduce them to people. If you know people who they can do business with, even though they might be really busy, but you know good people who make really good clients for them, then get them in touch. It's the amount of goodwill generated when a supplier and a customer make those introductions is immense. It means you're taking your relationship to the next level. So if you got suppliers in your business, people who are doing good jobs for you, and you know other people that they can help, then make sure they're in a position to help those people. One of the other things is don't beat them down on price. In the current economy, you probably won't have much option anyway, because people are going to come back and say, well, the price is the price. This is what we have to charge to make our business work and pay our team. And ultimately, you'll have to swallow it. And you have to then go back to your customers and say, well, the price is the price. This is what we need to charge to make our business work and pay our team. So it just rolls. But ultimately, there's a saying, if you want to reduce the price, you have to reduce the delivery. And I'll do another video on this anyway. But the point being, though, is, ultimately, if you're trying to beat them down on price, then you've got to be thinking, well, what out of their original proposition are they not going to deliver? What are they going to do slower? What are they going to do not to the same standard? What are the issues involved in me having to get more involved because they're not giving me the attention they should, because they're not making money off me that they should? And I think finally, really, one of the really most important things is don't just pay them on time, pay them early. Think about it this way: you owe £1,000 to someone for some web design tweaks, and you get an invoice from them and it says, okay, well, this invoice needs to be settled within 4 weeks. What are you achieving by waiting 4 weeks to settle that invoice? I know some businesses have to do this because their cash flows are so tight, but that's a whole other issue. But if your cash flows aren't so tight that you're robbing Peter to pay Paul, then why have that money just sitting around in your bank account? Do you understand the amount of goodwill it creates with your supplier just to actually pay them on time or early? Actually, don't even pay them on time, pay them early. Always pay them early. For our business, we settle an invoice within 2 hours of receiving it, and sometimes it can go up to a day depending on if I'm in meetings. But our goal has always been get that invoice sorted within 2 hours, because the amount of goodwill it creates with our suppliers has been astronomical, and it's been a huge part of our business's journey and our business's success, because we work with suppliers who will literally drop what they're doing to support us when we need it. And that's been incredibly important, just maintaining our tempo of operations. So if I could just summarize, the main things are, be easy to work with. Make sure you're introducing your good suppliers to good people. Make sure you're paying the right amount and you're not beating them down on price. And also make sure you're paying them early, not on time, paying them early. So what I'd like you to do is just reflect on this, and if you feel that this is an ethos you can apply in your own business, then I'd love to hear back from you. Or even if you just want some other advice in terms of growing your business, building into that £1 million business, then we're, as an accountancy firm that also specialises in business development, we are the people to help you get to that £1 million business. So get in touch, book yourself in for a strategy session. And if you liked this video, please remember to like, share, and follow, and subscribe depending on how you're watching it. And I'll see you in the next video. All right, have a great day. Bye.